Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. Dr. G is in the house. So, welcome back to another week, and I am so happy to have you here. So, of course, I want to share the good news with you. Always want to share good news. And I thank you, a huge thank you to you, because why? We are crushing that milestone, that 14,000 downloads milestone, and we are cruising right along towards 15,000. Thank you for your help in making this podcast a huge success. You know me, doing the happy dance. Here it is, the happy dance. So thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast, listening to the podcast, sharing it with a friend or two, and leaving a 5-star rating. Also, huge thank you for leaving a comment. That is very helpful. On a serious note, well, not that, talking about a podcast and the awesome support that you have given it is not good news, absolutely, and not a serious note. But this is something that is on my heart, and I have to share it. And so, as citizens of the United States, we essentially have the right to vote. For many people, that right has come at great sacrifice, essentially by those that preceded us. So if we are African American or if we are female, there were people that sacrificed and suffered in order for us to have a right to vote. So this year and every year, we have the opportunity to exercise that right. So I am imploring you, please vote. Please exercise the right. And every single vote does count. Despite what we might think, we're just one person and there are hundreds of millions of us. No. Your vote counts. And your vote can also make a difference. So a bunch of physician podcasters are spreading the word about getting out and voting in the coming weeks. And we are utilizing the hashtag #MedVote. So let's do this. Let's make it happen. Let's take control of the country that we live in. Okay? So get out and vote. Thank you. All right. I'm off my soapbox. So we talk about how amazing you are, and we talk about how I am super happy that you have chosen to spend time listening to this podcast and getting the goods in the Fearless Freedom Tribe. So thank you for that. You may be thinking about starting your own podcast. Guess what? Now is a perfect time to do that. So I wanted to just kind of share with you that you all know that I have a podcasting launch course. Well, maybe you don't know. So if you're new to the show, I have a podcasting launch course. There you go. So I wanted to share with you some of the podcasts from the launch course because they've been out. 3 of them are out, and they have been doing phenomenal jobs. Okay, they have been really crushing it. And so I like to brag on them because I feel like, they are bringing the stuff. And friends, what do friends do? Friends share awesome content with other friends. That's what friends do. So here I am sharing with you. So check out the 3 shows that are currently out. Show them some love by subscribing, leaving a 5-star rating, and sharing. And even if you're so inclined, leaving a positive comment. All of this goes very far towards helping us to get the word out and helping these shows to thrive. So the first show is called Pivot and Bloom, and it is with Dr. Mila, and it is a show that really is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I know her but she's an incredible lady. And she shares so much about personal development, about health, about wellness, and it is just pure fire. So check it out. The next show is The Drama-Free Workplace with Patty Perez, and Patty is phenomenal. She does the deep work that is necessary in order to figure out how you can have good relationships in the workplace and have them be drama-free. So check her podcast out. And then we have Living at Your Finest with Dr. Babs, and Dr. Babs brings it every single week as she talks about how you can have fun, you can talk about your faith, and how you can essentially have a well-developed, well-rounded life. So check those 3 shows out, show them some love, and I thank you in advance, and I appreciate you. Now, if you are interested in being part of the next podcasting launch course, the waiting list is filling up quickly. So you want to sign up today. Now, I have a shortened tag or link today because I realized someone pointed out, I was like, oh my God, why is your link so long? It's so hard to remember. All right, so I made a bit.ly link, so at least now we have a shortened one that is a lot easier to remember. So the link to sign up for the wait list is bit.ly/P as in Paul, L as in Larry, C as in Charmaine, waitlist. So go ahead and get on a wait list so that you can be a part of the next round of podcasts coming out of the launch course, okay? And then maybe you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm too busy to participate in a facilitated course, but I still want to get my show started. Absolutely no problem. Guess what? The podcast in a box is for you then. Now, with the podcast in a box, basically what happens is you provide the audio for your first 5 shows to launch with a bang, and me and my team, we do the rest. And then you come out on the other end essentially with a show, and your awesomeness is spread with the world. Now, you can find out more about that. You can take a look at it at www.ferventlyfitwithcharmaine.com/D as in dog, F as in fish, Y as in yes, -podcast-marketing. So get off that fear fence today. Your tribe is waiting to hear your voice, okay? And I am looking forward to working with you. So we talked about podcasting. We talked about a podcasting course. We talked about the awesome shows that have come out of the podcasting course. We have talked about the awesome things that you have done for this show to help it to be heard by more people. And I just want to let you know that something really incredible happened on Friday. So on Friday, the show, well, first of all, on Friday, Amazon Music launched their podcasting, they launched podcasts on their platform. And so they launched it on Amazon Music. They also launched it on Audible. And guess which show you can now ask Alexa to play for you? The Fearless Freedom with Dr. G podcast. Yay! And so basically all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Fearless Freedom with Dr. G, most recent episode, and boom, she will play it for you. So super excited about that. Check it out. Spread the word, because the more people who are able to hear the show, the better, because we want our tribe to be strong and large. So let's make it happen. All right. So the last thing is that I am still working on the swag. So I am looking for your feedback on what kind of swag I should get for the podcast. What should I put in the tribe's swag store? I need to hear from you. So hit me up on Instagram, hit me up wherever I'm on all these platforms. So hit me up, and because I want to hear what your ideas are. Awesome. Okay. So now for the show. So this podcast episode was recorded live. So if you have been following the YouTube channel at Charmaine Gregory MD, then you probably would have seen this episode. Yay for you, because, oh my goodness, that's awesome. If you are following the podcast on Facebook at Fearless Freedom with Dr. G on Facebook, then you would have also seen this live episode. So kudos to you. But if you haven't, or you weren't following these, we do live episodes every once in a while. And it is an opportunity to kind of see what what the people who are on the show look like and how to interact, and it's just a lot of fun. So feel free to check those out. So Dr. Francis Yu is who is the guest on the show this week. And he is an amazing guy. He basically is a teacher, a healer, a scholar, and he practices osteopathy, acupuncture, and lifestyle medicine, like the trifecta. And he shares some amazing pearls about fear, facing fear, etc. So check it out. Hello, 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 Fearless Freedom Tribe. It is Dr. G, and we are here with, oh my gosh, a live episode. Talk about facing fear, doing something super scary. Here it is. We are doing it live. And today, my guest is Dr. Francis Yu, and he is awesome. I just have to say that. He is doing some incredible things, and I am super excited to have you hear all about those. And where else and how better to hear about that from the man himself. So, Dr. Yu, take it away.
Hi, I'm the guest, Dr. Francis Yu. Yeah, and I'm really excited to be here, and let's have some fun.
Awesome. So, since they don't know how awesome you are, you definitely have to tell them what you do and what you're currently up to.
Yeah. So I kind of converted away from the corporate clinical medicine. I've been doing that for 5 years. Now I'm in private practice, just doing my own business, trying to figure out things as I go, because obviously doctors aren't taught how to figure out those things, but doing things here and there, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'm also working as a guide and coach for physicians, focusing on personal development, inner work, and self-awareness, which I really believe is the crux for really anything, whether it is working with fear, your career, your relationships, because that's the one thing we weren't taught in school or residency is, how to live as a person, as opposed to you should do exactly this. You have to be this way, and you have to be like this when you're with patients and when you're at home, versus, hey, you should learn to be you.
Wow. Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. We aren't taught a lot of things in medical school or in residency training. We are taught, of course, in excellent fashion to take care of patients, but we aren't taught how to actually run a practice once we get done and we've finished our training. We aren't taught how to navigate the waters of administration within hospital systems. There's so many things we aren't taught. And it's like the hidden curriculum that really I wish wasn't hidden.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that, you are now focused on helping physicians to do some deep introspection to kind of know exactly who they are. And as your mom always tells you, if you know who you are, you know where you're going, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about that work and how its current impact is faring?
Yeah, so I would say it all really started when I was probably 17 years old. I just had this, I don't know if we'll call it neurosis, or just a concern about my meaning in life, what's really going on, and just kind of this uncomfortableness with living in the world, which I really realized later was some fear and anxiety. I just didn't know that's what it was until really I started doing more really introspective work. And that led me to a lot of different places. I learned a lot about got certified in the Myers-Briggs type indicator. I got trained and certified in the Enneagram. I did a lot of education in various cultural, philosophical, psychological, spiritual ideas, and working with breath and meditation. I know that means something different to a lot of people. And I realized I had years and coming up on decades of stuff that I learned that can be just so helpful for other people as opposed to squirreling it away for myself. And I spent so many, literally thousands of hours, thousands of dollars on this beyond just other education. And it's something I've just always been interested in. And I find that physicians could really benefit from having this insight and knowledge and skills to really get more out of life, because it's not really what our education is about.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting that you had such a deliberate path. Like, like what do they call this? It's called it's not deliberate learning, it's deliberate consciousness. When you do something, deliberate practice, you had so much deliberate practice associated with your own introspection, like your own pathway with that. And, it sounds like that led you down a path to mastery, because I guess you're well beyond those 10,000 hours that Gladwell talks about all the time, and so, and that is amazing. And then the next piece, it sounds like you did, was you understood that when you have a wealth of knowledge like that, and it's something that is beneficial to other people, it's way better to pay it forward, to share that, and to help other people, because that karma that comes back is tremendous.
Yeah.
So, wow. No, that's awesome. I was like taken aback at the fact that you were so young with your existential crisis. Like, how does a child have an existential crisis? I think that's remarkable. That's really remarkable.
Yeah, I think that actually really goes into, like I was saying, things I was afraid of and anxiety over, which I didn't realize. And I'm sure there's a lot of connections with my childhood and my relationships and, my upbringing and such. But I think it was just part of who I am. Yeah.
You're just a deep gentleman. That's it.
Yeah.
And it started early.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So so what kind of things are you doing now? So we know you're coaching. Are you doing any workshops? Are you doing any, like, how are you getting to your clients? How are you getting to docs and letting them know about the deep work that you do so that you can help them?
Yeah. So there are a couple of avenues where I do it. Some are more intense and some not as much. So the three, I would say, big tools I use, although I use a combination of them, is the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator and Enneagram. And more and more people are knowing more about Enneagram. The Myers-Briggs was kind of well known in the public view, although not everyone knows about it. But in short, they're ways to figure out how and why we do things in the world, our motivations, and how our cognitively process things and decide things. And after studying it so much, and I still study it, I decided to help other physicians, and in a variety of ways. So the first way is simply to help people find what their type is. It's divided into different. I don't use the word personality because people just have different ideas what that really means.
Sure.
So I call it.
And sometimes they're not positive.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be a neutral understanding of what's going on. So I help physicians find their MBTI type or the Enneagram type. And if that's really all they want, that's fine, because there's a slew of information that you could find on your own. But sometimes physicians want extra help. They want someone who's has the expertise, the training, the certification, knowledge to help them use that to grow personally, professionally, and I do that in groups and in kind of like a course/program way, but also can be done in a one-on-one individual basis. And the third way I do it is a program I call the Authentic Dr. You. And I kind of spin off
that's
my name,
a good
right?
play.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So
branding.
Yeah. So, so what I do there is that I basically help other people have an existential crisis.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So the first step I do in that is I tell people, you have to be reminded that you're going to die. That's the first thing I
Okay.
start with. That's the first thing
Okay.
I start with. And either say, hey, write
Morbid,
your
but okay.
obituary. Yeah, yeah. And
Write
I do it
your
on purpose.
obituary?
Yeah, write your obituary or what's that? Your eulogy
Yes,
based
yes.
on your current life. If
Oh,
you
I
live the way
see.
you are living right now
Yeah.
and you died, what would your
Yes.
life have been like? Say, oh, Dr. Yu kind of lived, he was a physician, he helped a lot of people, but he was working in a job that wasn't really, what he wanted, and he didn't really face his fears, and he didn't really do everything that he could have. I mean, that's kind of a generic version
Sure.
versus writing your eulogy and obituary based on your ideal life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you compare the two. Oh wait, this is I don't think I'll meet anyone who is exactly the same.
Right.
So that just brings you a cognitive dissonance place,
Okay.
and you say, "Oh wait, it's what's going on here?" so,
Wow.
so that's actually where I start, and I purposefully get morbid because hey, it's life as we know it will end. I don't know. People have different ideas what will happen when we die, but the life as we know it right now will
Right.
change. So, and people have this thing about I can't think about this, and
Right.
people instinctively, defense mechanism wise, they don't want
Oh,
to think
yeah.
about it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you really stop and think about it, it brings up a whole load of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. It does. Wow. That's awesome. You cause existential
Yeah.
crisis. I,
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting here and I'm listening to you and it's like, mind blown, because that's real. I mean, that's like real talk right there. That's
Yeah.
like real, raw emotion, provoking, dirty, down,
Yeah.
deep work. And so that's awesome. That is awesome. So, and so you have to tell us now, once someone has, so you said that, yes, there's going to be some defensive blockers that are going to come about because, of course, we tend not to want to look at our real selves, right? We tend
Mm-hmm.
not to want to do that deep work because we're afraid that we're going to see the ugly bits and we don't really like to see the ugly bits. And so, tell us about, so you said that there's some blockers that initially some folks may have. Now, tell us what happens when somebody does this and they see that there is a disconnect between who they see themselves as and who they actually are, or where they see themselves as having lived, or the existence that they see themselves as having lived versus what is actually happening. Like, what happens when those light bulbs start going off and someone actually does that deep work? Like, what kinds of things do you see uncovered?
Yeah. So it's different for different people because there's a whole bunch of positive stuff. Oh, wow, this is actually possible. What am I actually doing? And things that are profound and they find treasures. But on the other side, they automatically, the ego says, no, wait, what about this? What about that? Uh, no, you're fine to where you are. Stay comfortable. And it's this balancing of knowing the fear mechanisms that keeps us alive, right? It's
Right.
good to be afraid of certain things,
Mm-hmm.
but our instincts and our brains and our autonomic nervous system sometimes translates that fear into things that are won't kill us, but it may kill a part of our ego, which is the crux of the whole point is, oh wait, all this great stuff, it's not me, but it really is.
Mm.
It's just that your perceived sense of yourself is so small. Oh, this is my story, this is my drama. Oh, I'm this trained, board certified, I work in this place and I'm a doctor, which is true, but there's a whole slew of infinite, boundless truth and possibility that is kind of scary in a way. So one of my mentors. I say mentor, but he was a philosopher from the 19th century. Søren Kierkegaard, the father of existentialism, says the anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Like, wow, there's so much possible. How can I even start to figure out what can I actually do in this life? And that can cause a type of the existential anxiety. It's like, wow, this is hey, I don't need to only work in this one job. I don't need to only work a clinical job or only a non-clinical job. I don't need to only do this. But facing all that is kind of scary for the ego.
Yes.
But if you're able to see that and look at yourself and say, oh wait, this is what's going on, and seeing the abundance that's really there,
Right.
then that's where things change. So it's very common to see, like you're saying, the emotions and feelings and thoughts and all that come up too, because those were years of trained and built-in habits that were there, which kept us alive, kept us functioning, but
Right.
also keeps us from growing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. Uh-huh. Yep. Nope. I completely, I understand.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, of course, you and I are, we're of the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And we are, interestingly, we are a growing breed within medicine now. So, for various reasons, and amplified probably by our current pandemic, right? So the pandemic has definitely opened the eyes of lots of colleagues to perhaps you might want to consider having multiple streams of income, alternate streams of income, just in case something like this occurs again. There's not as much job security as was previously thought in medicine. So, but it's funny that you should say this because, you're like, we talk about comfort zones. We talk about how the ego is saying, no, I don't want to go there because there's danger there, and then having the wherewithal or the tools that are going to actually cause a block to that boundary stopper or boundary creator that is happening in your ego, to be able to step beyond that boundary, ignore that, no, don't go over the line of comfort and don't step into growth. Like, this is what we are constantly being told inside our minds. It's like, and I don't know when we learned this. I don't know why we have come to this place, but it's so fascinating because if you talk to a child and you say to the child, you say, hey, why don't you draw your vision of, whatever, a scene, a play scene, a paradise scene. Their vision for that is completely without any bounds. You might see a purple dinosaur. Well, that's Barney. You may see a purple unicorn. You may see, a rainbow that has like, every single color in it. They just don't see boundaries. They don't see that there's something that's not possible.
Yeah.
They also don't see there's something that they can't do. There's a really good book and it's called What You Say When You're Talking to Yourself by Shad Stelbecker. And basically in that book, he says, you know what? We started as tabula rasas. As children, we were a clean slate. We had the vision of endless possibilities of I can do anything. Like there's no, like, there's a problem. Okay. It's not seen as a problem. It's just seen as an opportunity to figure out a solution. Like, that is how a child thinks. And he says that, not the fault of our parents, not the fault, they're just trying to be good individuals and they're trying to raise children who are going to be functional in society. And so they tell us no. And he actually went back and he counted like how many times we hear no. And it was hundreds of thousands of times in our childhood. And so just think about that, right? So the ego is looking for cues, right? Your brain is constantly looking for ways in which to process things really quickly so that you can move through the world. Like, if you have to stop every single time and think about every single thing in the algorithm of your day, of every action, you would never exist. You wouldn't exist functionally. And so your brain is making all these connections, right, as you're growing up, and you're hearing, no, don't do that. No, be safe. No, don't do that. Like you're constantly hearing no, and you're not hearing yes enough. And you're not hearing, even if you're hearing no, you're not hearing no, but let's look at a way that you can make this happen. Or no, let's not do it this way, but let's think of another way. We're not hearing no in that context. We're just hearing no with no, what do you call that now? Caveat? Yeah, with no caveat. And so the brain just assumes, okay, in order for me to not be in danger, in order for me not to be uncomfortable, I'm just gonna stay in the comfort zone. And so we do, right? We do the things that are gonna make us comfortable. We go to med school, we do residency, we get going in our career, we see our patients, we serve our patients, we make a difference in our specialties. Or, if you're not in medicine, the same thing in whatever career you're in. And, we're comfortable. But then life happens or something happens and we're forced to think outside the box. We're forced to pivot, like the pandemic forces people to pivot. And if you're of a mindset that has done some of the deep work that you do, then you're aware that, you know what? I kind of have to push myself. I kind of have to do something a little uncomfortable every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be super big. It doesn't have to be jumping off a cliff or bungee jumping or something, really daring. It could be something as simple as, you know what? I'm just going to learn. I'm going to go and I'm going to learn about how I can do, I don't know, digital marketing, or I'm going to learn how I'm going to be able to make cards because I think maybe I want to make cards. It's just stretching yourself. It's just doing something that's going to keep you growing and saying no to that part of your ego that says, no, we need to stay right here. We need to be comfortable. We need not to step over that line into the growth zone and out of the comfort zone. So I think it's amazing the work that you're doing. It's fascinating. It's well needed. And I really hope that people are reaching out to you to start doing this deep work because I feel like it is so needed.
Yeah.
So needed.
I just wanted to respond to your statement, and it may seem daunting, well, because it subjectively we perceive it is, but the information's out there. The neuroscience we know, the social psychology, so many books out there on why and how. It's there. Well, obviously, I'm the kind of person that reads and finds all of it, but it's not. There is a mysterious aspect to it, but it's we know people think that they're logical, but we have built in illogical parts of our mechanism, our brain, like you said, because it just makes things easier, right? And people like Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky wrote about why we make illogical decisions even though we know they're logical. Kind of like the that optical illusion where there's two lines and they're exactly the same, except one line has the it's like has the here's the line. If it has the line that's like this, I don't have it up, versus the one that has it that makes it basically how it's presented makes it look shorter or longer.
Right.
And even if it is short, it is the same size or same length, your brain still will think it's different. But all this is out there. You just have to, find someone who knows where it is or dig into it yourself. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so you have to let everybody know where they can find you on social media. Like where are you located? What platforms?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook, which is my big hunting ground. You can come friend me or like my page. It's Dr. Francis Yu. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. And yeah, I'm it's all the same. And I'm there. And that's my website too, drfrancisyu.com. So yeah.
Awesome. So that is that is amazing. Like I am still, I'm always super excited to talk to other physician entrepreneurs number one. And then number two, it's always exciting to talk to somebody who is doing mindset work, because I feel like that is such an important thing, and it's not to be taken lightly, because it is the framework, it is the basis upon which you can have tremendous growth and tremendous success. And so, because I mean, come on, let's think about it. Like, people who are high achievers, guess what? It's all their mindset, right? I mean, they don't see problems. They don't see problems as stopping points. They see them as opportunities for growth, for change, for coming up with solutions. And so that's all mindset. And if you talk to anybody if you talk to like Warren Buffett, you talk to Jeff Bezos, you talk to, anybody who has had success, LeBron James, you talk to any of them, they always talk about the fact that mindset is so important, so it's always exciting when someone's deep diving into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just something that's really important to get involved in and to have as a basis. Particularly if you're thinking about stepping into the entrepreneurial space, or if you're thinking about starting a venture, really working on your mindset first is going to make all the difference, because it will help you with establishing your brand ethos. It will help you with establishing your everything about your business. And it will also help you with, being comfortable with collaborations. I mean, all of the things. And Dr. Carradez is saying that he agrees mindset is key. And so, it is totally key. And I know you do a lot of work, Harry, with mindset. So, it is absolutely key. Absolutely. Awesome. I am so excited that we got a chance to talk, because I know we go going back and forth to figure out what we can do this. And I was like, oh my God, the schedule's so packed and I don't know what we want to do it live. And you were like, okay.
Yeah.
So I am so glad we're able to make this happen and share your awesomeness with the world. And so we are, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which way the audience is looking at it, but hopefully it's unfortunately, we are at the end of our conversation. But this is the time when we do our traditional piece on the show, which is essentially the fill in the blanks. So, Dr. Yu, are you ready?
I think it doesn't matter if I'm ready.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
All right. I love that. Love that. Clearly, you've done deep work. Okay, awesome. So the first one is, to me, fearless freedom means.
It means true authenticity, living my own life, not anyone else's.
Love it. The next one is, if I am fearless, I will.
I will become whole. I'll become present. I'll become integrated in all aspects of life.
Awesome. And then last but not least, my battle cry is.
Initially, I was going to just actually cry out something.
Oh, you can. You still can.
All right. Okay. Let's do it.
That ship has not sailed.
Yeah. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Okay. All right. So my battle cry is.
Ah!
Love it. Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Oh my gosh. So, it's always like really cool when I have a guest on the show that literally faces fear live by being on the show live. So I thank you for being my guest today.
My pleasure, I suppose.
And so I'm just going to flash on the screen one more time how everyone can reach you. So Fearless Freedom Tribe, if you're watching the video live, thank you for participating in this. And also, if you're on YouTube, please feel free to go right to that corner there and hit the subscribe button so that you do not miss any of the awesome value that comes through the channel and awesome guests like Dr. Yu that comes on the channel. And I thank you if you're on Facebook. I thank you for commenting. Harry, thanks for commenting. Appreciate you being here live. And until next time, I hope that you will be brave, be strong, and unleash your greatness. Have an amazing day.